Hello guys, Brandon Carey here, and today I'm joined with my friend Matthias,
Hello.
who I have been told is also a fan of Prey, and I don't know where I got that impression from.
I yeah, I've been probably I think definitely the year after
Yeah,
that it was released, I talked a whole lot about how that was like my game of the year and like the hidden gem because it just released at a really bad time with
yeah.
almost no marketing and it's just really good.
This game was left to dry
Yeah,
when it came
sadly.
out.
hmm it deserves better.
It deserves a lot better than it got. And where we left off, we were about to find the key card, or that Dr. Calvino has on his office, so that we can try to override Alex's lock on the Looking Glass software, so that we can see the video that we left for ourselves in our previous incarnation.
Every airlock has a manual seal you'll have to disengage before you can spacewalk. While engineered as a safety measure, it's irrelevant when the enemy is already
And
inside the
this is
station.
where
If you do go out
the
there
first of
and wouldn't
the
stray far,
pseudo
the Typhon may have spread to the exterior.
fast travel
And
ways
remember,
of Prey
other
comes into
airlocks you
play,
find will
the
have to be opened from the
spacewalks.
inside first. Looks like you've already got a propulsion system,
Which to me is
so you
like
should be
a
fine
genius
maneuvering.
idea, in a way. To just say this station is in space, so if you want to
Yeah.
go from one place, from A to B really fast, just go outside.
Yeah, just go outside and move around. But I don't think I've ever actually used it that much. Like, aside from when you had to with the story.
Microgravity detected.
I'm pretty sure I've used it a bunch, but I feel I could have been way more efficient when going from A to B
Yeah.
in this game, because I wasn't really thinking about that. It was just which other quests do I have
Exactly.
and where should I go for those, and just exploring is really fun. You don't have to be like really precise or find the best route towards a place, because there's always something you can find.
I'm gonna pop and eat a Psi Hypo since I am a little low on psionic power. Where are the Psi Hypos here? Oh, I have plenty of them, so that's might as well just use at least one. I just saw a science operator say hello, which means I just wasted the Psi Hypo by not realizing there was a science operator right here.
Right.
'Cause
I've almost forgot about that.
Yeah, you don't use
What?
psi powers in your run, right? So you don't like have to deal with worrying about that at all. Airlock power locked. Where? Oh yeah, here's Dr. Calvino. He's right here. The station, thankfully, since he conveniently left a giant air hole where he blew up. Oh, there's a science operator. Top me off, Chief.
Right, so for those that haven't played Prey, there are different kinds of operators, and there's like a medical one that heals you. I think there's one that restores armor, and then the science one restores
The
your
engineering one restores armor.
side.
Your
Exactly.
suit. Which I guess armor is not the right way to put it, because like I don't know if the suit actually protects you from attacks, but it's real. The real use of it is that while you have suit integrity, you have infinite oxygen while in space. Like once your suit gets leaky, then you start to only have a limited amount of oxygen you have before you die of oxygen deprivation.
I'm not quite sure because it's been a while, but I think as long as you have armor, it reduces the damage you take instead of just completely taking it. But it also goes down. So
Yeah.
health is always the most important stat, but I think armor helps a bit. But yeah, it's been
Yeah,
ages, so I
you
don't
can survive
really
with your
know.
suit being pre-damaged and not really feel the effects until it gets like low.
Yeah, yeah.
You found him. Not surprising. Well done.
I love that like your operator's like, yeah, I'm like the dump of you from previous life. I'm not surprised you can do this because I knew you could. I am you. Like it's so deadpan in a way that's kind of humorous.
I mean, it's also one of those things that's never really explained in a ton of games where people are always like, I know you can do this, here's this impossible task, but go do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, we have never met, but I know you can do this, but that never makes sense. But here, it's literally you.
Yeah, it's
so they
literally
know.
like the closest thing to a clone that can possibly exist in this universe. Just like a robot that has the combined memories of your original incarnation or one of your previous incarnations. So of course it knows you can do it because it thinks it could do it. If it had a body.
Well, it's a science operator.
Yeah.
Well, an operator, not science, but I mean, technically, I think if you had to be one of the types of operators, then Morgan would be a science, I would say.
Yeah, I think Morgan would be a science operator. So now we have... Oh wait, we could probably just go in through the breach. Just gotta... I wonder if I can fix this failsafe.
I think you picked up some spare parts.
I did.
Oh, no, I don't think you can go in through here, but it just opens up the other side for you to...
Oh yeah, okay. Which means we can actually, like, collect stuff from there.
Yeah, I think so.
And while there's like a ton of other things you can do here, like you see there's objectives for a couple of corpses that are outside the space station and an airlock that we can go to. We don't actually need to, so we're going to just kind of speed this along and get right back to the main objective. But
yeah, I guess this playthrough is only going to be like a fraction of the total hours you'd spend on your first one if you really want to figure everything out.
Oh yeah, you can breeze through this game if you're trying. We're doing like a casual, like we're doing like not a speed run, but focusing mostly on just the story, the main story path, and we'll do a couple of side quests as they come up. But this is not going to be like a comprehensive exploration playthrough.
That would take ages.
Yeah.
At like 2 hours a week.
Yeah. Like, this is something that I would hope to be able to do in a month or two tops. There is so much in this space station to explore. Like it's hard to really fathom.
Yeah, oh man, the environmental world building is so good.
Yeah.
Even without all the transcripts or the emails, there's one place I particularly like, but I'll just talk about it when we get there, because we'll probably end up there anyway.
Yeah. Let's... Now, you mentioned that you didn't get human... You got mostly human powers in your original run.
Yes.
I think there are a couple things that are different when you use psionic powers. One being obviously the turrets. That's the most obvious one, the one that the game kind of just tells you outright.
Suit integrity damaged.
But there are two others that you may have, like, you probably noticed one yet. That being that you can hear the phantoms talk, which I don't think you can do when you're mostly human.
I could hear them though, and even like hear some words, some sentences. So I think that's the same, but like I said, it's been a long time since I've played this, and when I replayed it, I just played Moon Crash.
Because if memory serves, like it is like you have to have psionic powers to hear the phantom, like to hear the phantom's like thoughts on stuff. And because we repaired this hull breach, this area is now accessible. And there's a phantom in here. Let's see if we can catch him by surprise. Nice.
Ooh, that was really
over
nice.
here.
Yeah, I'm a bit late, but when you said nice, I thought something like that was gonna happen. But yeah. Anyway, still getting used to watching all
Still
of
get
the
used to the 5 seconds slower.
Yeah.
And I will be happy to take this Q-beam way earlier than I'm supposed to have it. Because this is one of the most useful weapons in the game for very strong foes.
Yes, definitely.
Let's get back my Margrave. I don't think I can go into this room just yet because I need the key card for it.
You know, I'm pretty sure at this point I still only had the gun and no powers, so...
Oh yeah, and this, like, because we were playing a New Game Plus playthrough, we were, like, completely out of whack. But
yeah.
theoretically, you could get the Q-beam this early in the game if you have the power, if you have, like, your build all set up for it in hacking. Or in, I guess, repair.
Yeah, in games like this, I'm one of the persons that spends a lot of time running around with points left to spend.
Yeah.
Just in case I run into something that I'm like, I need to hack this, or I really want to repair this, and then I go for it.
In these games, the first thing I end up dumping points into is usually, like, the functional equivalent of lockpicking. Or whatever it is in that game where it's, like, usually it's either that or hacking. Which in this game, lockpicking is effectively the same thing as hacking.
Yeah, basically.
Or vice versa. Because all of these are electronic locks.
Well, yeah, like I said, they are locks, so you're just using a different kind of pick.
Insufficient time.
Alright, we need to go into his workshop. I forgot. Because he has looking glass servers in his workshop. Now we have the key card for it. I love it. I still love that they call it the Looking Glass. Like, that's A, like, a reference to Looking Glass Studios, and B, a great Alice in Wonderland reference. Like, it is a multifunctional reference. Cystoid nest. Oh, wait, that's out there, so I don't worry about it right now. We're all safe in the space station. About all these powers, but honestly, the wheel is just a better way to click select, in my opinion, than the hotkeys. Like, I'm just so used to using the wheel because it's literally right there with where my mouse hand is.
But I mean, when you've got this many powers as well, you can't just hotkey them all.
Yeah.
So, and I think the game completely freezes because there are some games that just slow down time, and then you really can't afford to.
Yeah.
I guess, but totally fine in here, I think.
It's like we need to find a way to turn the power on, but I forget where that would be here.
And I don't know why, but I'm a real sucker for those visual effects. Like here, when you look from one side, you can see the quote-unquote screen, but if you look from the back, you can just see through it.
Yeah.
And all of that, and like portals and the stuff from the Stanley Parable, where there's a walkway. And if you look through it, it's like a few feet, but if you take the one next to it, it's only like 3 feet. All those weird visual effects and stuff, I really like those.
Where is the button to push on this? Oh, here we go. Power on. Yeah, like this effect here is really, really cool. You're right. Now that you pointed it out, like, it is completely see-through. But if you look on it from the right angle, you see the looking glass.
So it really looks like glass if
Yeah.
you're looking at it from the wrong side.
Server is disconnected. Alright, now let's try. Network utilities. Let's see. As a scientist does, you just check all the diagnostics one by one until you see which one's broken.
Exactly.
Nice work, Morgan. The Looking Glass screens are online again. Head back to your office as soon as you can. It's important you hear the rest of your message. I'll meet you there.
And we can even look at some of the videos that they've they've recorded with the Looking Glass.
It's running?
Light-filled capture looks a little hot.
Where's the photometer? The handheld.
I love this effect.
Did you take it?
No.
Because it shows you what the
yesterday
Looking Glass
we
does.
had two,
It records
now
a
I can't find
360
one.
camera image.
We've only ever had one.
Nonsense.
I guess you forgot.
Like, it's so cool.
So, the world is basically rendered twice.
Yeah.
With this, and oh man,
it is something that like 360 cameras do exist in real life, but they are just not. They are nowhere near this level of cool and sophisticated.
No.
Like, this is something that people could strive for in real life. Like, this is so cool.
You're leaving?
I thought we were done.
Just turn it off then.
I feel like you're upset with me.
No, I suppose it's late after all. Go, sleep.
What about you?
What about me? Yeah, don't concern yourself. I'll finish.
Right. I guess I'll see you later then.
Yeah, you guess.
What?
You're always saying, I guess. That
I was
worked,
never
I
sure
guess.
if, like,
I'll see you later,
Calvino...
I guess. You're a scientist. Stop guessing. No. Or be quiet. Yeah, that's all.
Good night, Dr. Calvino.
I can't tell if, like, he had some
Era un
sort of,
pescatore.
like, mental... Like, if there was some degradation in his mind that was either due to, like, some sort of disease that he already had, or if it was just, like, the Typhon string with him or something. I could never really tell what the implication there was.
Yeah, they definitely tell you that there was something going on,
Yeah.
but they never. I don't think you'll ever find a real clue as to what. Is it the Typhons? Did he mess with neuromods himself? No idea.
Also, I love that you can see what's going on if you just change your perspective. Like, if you just switch to a different screen. And you can tell there's a safe right there. So... it looks like if you put something here, then this will open and reveal some extra goodies. And that's just from watching the Looking Glass. So I don't know what to actually put there, though.
And watching from the right screen, because you might have a lot of people who just kept looking and suddenly were like, yeah, well, these people are out of frame, why am I still looking at this? And then they never went to check on the other screen.
Yeah, Kelly in the chat is right. It is impressive that you don't ever see a performance hit from the game for the Looking Glass technology, because in theory, having to render two whole worlds at the same time should be a massive graphical hit.
Well, I guess technically the biggest hit is on memory, because it needs to have that second location in memory as well, but it's only rendering when you're looking at it. So I guess it's, that's my limited understanding.
What is the, interact button. Yeah, here we go. Okay, here we go. Now we have the Tumblr with Calvino's name on it. We can unlock the safe.
I love in that they have all this technology and still he just put some tape with his name on his own Tumblr to know that it's his.
And I think we have enough to start getting some more upgrades. Yeah, we have 11 neuromods, so we can start rounding off this tree.
I don't think you have many things left.
I have 3 things left. Machine Mine 3, which we'll buy, and Remote Manipulation 3, which we'll buy, and I need 7 more neuromods to completely max out my character, which is for Backlash 3, a move that I have pretty much never used. And now we have this go back and see the video. Which I'm sure there will be nothing left to hinder us from here on out. I'm sure once we see the video, we'll be fine and everything will just fall into place. Backstabbing these phantoms will never not be satisfying.
Just know, people, that he has a really good shotgun and upgraded a lot of his abilities, so this probably isn't going to one-shot when you're playing. But...
yeah, like I am playing a very overpowered character, and deliberately so. Like, I even have health regen on this character. Like the although thankfully like it's not completely broken, the game doesn't regen your health until after you've taken some seconds without getting hit. But like essentially, I will probably never need to use health kits for the rest of the game. Like that's what's I think the Typhon power, that one, I think being able to just regenerate your health.
Yeah, I think it is.
And it is a good one to have.
It's also like in the beginning, the Typhons is like the Phantoms, I mean, the second strongest enemy or something. Like first you got the normal mimics and then you got Phantoms, sort of like that. But if you're playing in the beginning of the game, they're actually pretty strong when you've got almost nothing and just a pistol.
And again, like the shotgun is a pre-order weapon, so like I started this game my first time with the shotgun, which does feel a little unfair. Like that
you
is
still have to get real close to do like the max damage, but still, it's
And you have and you get the recipe for making ammo for it too, so it's like they set you up pretty well if you pre-order like this. Just having a shotgun, let alone like one with the most upgrade potential, just for pre-order the game, that does feel a little not pay to win because it's a single player game, but maybe not the choice I would have made.
I wonder how long they discussed also including the fabrication plants for the shells or not, because if they didn't, it would have been a lot less of an impact, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have complained in a way.
Yeah.
Like, they give me the shotgun, but I can't use it anymore. Stuff like that.
I'm not used to greater mimics being around this early, but that might be a New Game Plus kind of thing, combined with having a buttload of Typhon powers right off the bat.
Attitude adjustment required.
Yeah, I totally can't remember when they started to show up.
Here's more greater mimics over here.
My immediate thought is closer to Psychotronics or something, but
yeah, this might be a response to me having so much Typhon in me so early. I wonder about that.
Yeah, it could be that they are totally not related to story triggers, but just like how far are you in certain trees in that kind of progression. Like you should be strong enough now to be able to defeat these, so go ahead.
Might as well throw a lot of this food into the recycler since I don't actually need to eat to restore my health anymore. And auto-sort. Since the components take up less space than the items do.
Man, the place all junk and the auto sort are just, they make this so easy. Like there's absolutely no reason not to do that. Because I know some people might get annoyed, like, oh, I always have to do this stuff, it's mandatory, blah blah blah. But it's literally 2 buttons and your inventory is like half cleaned up.
Yeah, it really helps. Remove junk and auto-sort.
You're not going to like what I have to say next. You have to destroy Talos 1. The research, the Typhon, nothing can survive. Including you. I know how it sounds, but you've seen what those creatures can do. They're a part of you now. If even one cell gets back to Earth, we're lost. I'm sorry. I wish there was another way. January can walk you through activating the self-destruct mechanism. Alex will try to stop you. He's allergic to failure. Too proud to go back to Mom and Dad with his tail between his legs. So, it's up to you now. Good luck. Told you wouldn't like it.
So yeah, we had to commit suicide and destroy the space station. Simple, right?
And it came from us who said it.
Yeah.
So shouldn't that be like the one person you can trust at this point?
Which I do love that this game starts to really like get into.
Hello,
that.
Morgan. I'm January 2035. I'm an operator. There are many operators aboard Talos 1.
You could be like, okay, this January, I don't trust her. I know nothing about her. But then you see like a video of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
like,
it's literally you saying, "This is what you should do," and who can you trust not yourself, right?
I'm your plan B.
Yeah.
My first task was to free you from the simulation. Second task was to
I
make
think
sure
that's
you
part
saw
of why
your
I like
video.
this game so much. The
Those are
story
done.
is just
Interesting.
completely messes
New
with your mind,
directives are
and then
now
the
available
mimics
to me.
making you
The
paranoid. This entire
self-destruct
game is
protocol
just
for Talos
it just
1 is
messes with you.
activated by 2
Yeah.
arming keys. Your brother has the first. You had the second. Alex destroyed your arming key, but you hid a fabrication plan for a new one in deep storage. That's where you'll need to go next. We can worry about getting Alex's key afterwards. The Typhon are spreading fast, Morgan. You'll be racing against them. And your brother. This key card will grant you access to the main lift and all the labs. The main lift is the fastest way to reach deep storage.
Alright, so we have our new objective. Find the arming key, find our fabrication key for the arming, our fabrication plan for the arming key, get Alex's arming key, and then use
Next
that
topic. You asked me to provide you with more neuromods, which I've done. Good luck, Morgan.
Okay, thank you. Can you stop talking to me now, please?
You designed me to assist you.
It's also never
I have
not
more
funny when you just
instructions,
poop out
but I
items.
can't access them until you've recovered both.
I want to
The
turn
key card, the neuromods,
Yeah, I want to
whatever.
turn her volume down for speech quite a bit because it's actually kind of loud.
Arming keys.
There we go. So you were saying, Matthias?
Yeah, I was just saying that it's never not funny when the operators like poop out items.
Yeah.
Because you think like they're really small, but they house some rudimentary form of AI, a whole bunch of equipment. There must be batteries in there, whatever fuel they use to float. But then still they can put a whole ton of items inside. It's like, what?
Yeah, they have like a whole form of storage. I forget if I hacked this turret yet. Nope, I did not hack this turret yet. I'll need to fix that.
At least it shows up as an enemy
Yeah.
instead of
going to
just
go
getting
around.
shot at.
I'm going to go around. Having the jetpack really does open up where you can... Oh! Hi, Mimic! I should have switched my wrench.
Yeah, this is one of the ways the game also suggests that you fight mimics at the beginning, like just glue them with the glue gun and then hit them with the wrench. I guess I never
Yeah.
really used that, but
I never did either. Like, unless it was a freak out reaction like that. I also love that if you look, you can see the mimic in the middle of mimicking. Like, just as you enter the room.
yeah, like
Which is how I could see that one was the mimic. I literally would watch him transform. And usually, like, if anything is tipped over like this, that's a sign that the mimic threw it away so that it could take its place. Yeah, just like that. Like, you could see this chair was thrown aside, and therefore there was probably a mimic in here. There's a lot of mimics in this area, Jesus Christ. I guess not for my psychoscope. Any more? Which is another thing I shouldn't have this early in the game is a psychoscope.
yeah. It does change the way you play as soon as you get it.
I am
But
so
I
glad I have health regen right now.
Robert?
Alice, thank God. No one else is
Where are you?
hiding. I'm in the conference room. I can't.
Jesus! You're still in the lab?
I can't
Wow,
get
we
out.
really, like, this
There's-
game
what
really,
the
really
hell is
glitched. It's still
security?
playing this old audio
I don't know
log.
what's happening, but Robert, you have to get out of there.
Oh,
Come
is
to
it
the
still the
elevators.
same
Someone said
one?
we're evacuating.
Yeah, still the same one from the first recording.
Robert?
Shh. Hang on. Someone's
I think you
coming.
fixed it, yeah, when you went in to listen to another transcribe
Mio,
or something last time,
This
right?
is Dr. Calvino.
Oh, yeah.
Mio,
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna not worry about audio logs in this run, because I'd rather talk about the game than listen to the game talk.
Yeah, true. It's definitely worth it when you're playing
Yeah.
yourself, but yeah.
When you're playing for an audience, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
And IT department. I love that the IT department's security is a level 1 lock, and I don't know if that says anything about the IT guys. Like, if that's like, oh, we just got sick of, like, we just want to have an easy hack if we get locked out, or if they just didn't, if they're just bad IT guys. It's hard to tell if that's supposed to mean anything.
Suit integrity damaged.
This game's battle music is pretty good. It's pretty good. Let me reload my weapon. And probably repair my suit a little bit, since it did take some damage. I think there is a spare parts recipe. So you can actually craft spare parts if you need them. And again, like, here, since we do have leverage, we could move this out of the way, but let me see if I have a recycler charge. A little tip for early game, if you don't want to use leverage, is you can just recycle these kinds of materials, and that destroys them. If you aim it right, you can completely get rid of all of this, but now we can access human resources. Which, again, something poetic about human resources being blocked out at the beginning of the game until you get psionic powers or enough leverage to open the way. Just like real life. One of my favorite things is when mimics take the form of health kits. Like, that is the cool thing this game does, is it lets the mimics actually mimic collectibles, like health kits and those kinds of items.
It would only make sense, because they can literally change into anything.
Yeah.
Just another extra layer of paranoia.
Yeah. And again, once you're like at my level of power that I am right now, paranoia just kind of stops. Even if they do ambush you, you don't actually care. But when you're playing early on, especially early on, like it is terrifying. Like, even one mimic is a terrifying prospect, usually.
Yeah. The game does like this great job of balancing you being weak while also having no idea what's going on, with later in the game where you understand a lot more, and at the same time they're less of a threat.
Yeah.
So you play completely different ways, like in the beginning of the game and near the end of it.
Exactly. And that is such a cool idea. Like, has it's so cool watching your character develop, as not only do you get smarter as a player in learning how to deal with mimics, like, you as a character, you get stronger. Well, not stronger, you get smarter, because that's what neurobots are doing. They're not really changing who you are physically, they're changing who you are mentally. Again, kind of feeding into that central theme of, like, messing with the mind. Like, there's so much in this game that is about, like, mentalism and how the mind affects the body and vice versa. Oh, hi, Phantom.
Yeah, the leverage neuromods are almost literally just mind over matter. Like,
yeah,
you can lift something that's heavy now. That doesn't really seem to make much sense, but just...
I think the logic is that, like, you're kind of training your mind to use your muscles more effectively.
Yeah, it's like, how do you hold it? What muscles to use? Stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that intuitive, but, you know, there's sort of a way of... Yeah, it can work in a way.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the bigger stretches, and have you ever gotten Leverage 3?
I'm not sure. I don't think, since I figure out that you only need one level of leverage to the others, I guess.
So, like, when you use leverage 3 to, like, force open a door, for example, the game does a thing where, like, you can see, like, psychic energy coming out of your hands when you do it. So it's kind of like, it's unclear whether, like, you're using some sort of, like, telekinetic force to boost your physical strength, or if there's, like, that's just, like, your mind working overtime to make your muscles do what it's supposed to do. It was supposed to do. It's kind of hard to tell.
That's also gotten me thinking when you said like you need to have some form of powers in order to hear the phantoms, and then me saying I didn't get any of the powers and I can still hear them. Even if you take 0 powers, you still have that bar, that sidebar. So maybe it sort of says that
you get the sidebar if you unlock combat focus, because that does also use sonic power.
Oh, right.
It's stuck at the top.
So maybe I didn't have it at the start. I don't remember that. I just thought that I knew that I had it at some point, and I just thought that maybe that could then link to everyone has this sort of innate ability to do it, but they don't know how.
Yeah, it's because the
This is Security Chief Elazar. Who the hell shut down the elevators and airlocks? Answer me. My team's locked down tight here. We need those lifts working. Sam, it can't be a power loss, can it?
I don't think so, Chief. The main lift and all the airlocks shut down at once.
Good morning, Talos. Warning. Tampering with administrative controls on workstations or keypads may result in electric shock. If you're having trouble accessing a system, please send a help alert to security.
So, the combat focus actually is, like, that does utilize psi power, and you don't get a sidebar until you have a skill that uses psi power. Which is why you get combat focus, even though it's a human trait, it is something that uses psionic power. I'm probably gonna get electric shock, because I am screwing up this hack. Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna get shocked. Oh well.
And they did literally just say that over the intercom.
Yeah. That is amusing. I wish I could say that was on purpose. Weapon upgrade kit and more neuromods. You know, even though, like, you don't really get enough to get even half the powers in this game, I would still say the game is pretty generous with neuromods.
Yeah, usually, pretty sure a lot of people are like this. You just sort of go over the tree,
yeah.
And you look at your favorite playstyle, and you almost rush that, and you'll always be able to fulfill whatever that thing is you chose. It's not going to be everything. But yeah, there's still enough to sort of go, this is how I want to play a build or something, and then just complete that. But then all the other stuff like hacking and leverage, etc., you might not get it full on that if you want to go for everything. But there's definitely a lot.
Let's see what December has to say.
Containment, Alex has a private escape pod. You made a copy of his launch key and hid it in the Neuromod division. Along with the supply cache. I'll transmit the location to your map. I'll contact you again when you have the key.
And this is, like, this December is, I don't want to call it a red herring, so to speak, but it is an interesting part of the game, is having December here. Because she is, or it, because it's also, they both use the Morgan Yu voice of the gender you chose at the start of the game. It tells you that, it has a directive, the same thing as January, but it's to escape Talos 1 instead of blowing it up.
Yeah, and that timing is really great as well, because you have no idea if you can trust January, but then she leads you to a video of yourself, so then you might, well, I guess I can trust her, and then suddenly this completely other version shows up and tells you to do something completely different.
Yeah.
And now you're just back at what am I supposed to do? What is real?
Yeah, and even like asking yourself the question, what do I want to do, is like, okay, what version of me wants, like, there are several versions of me that want to do different things. Which one of them is the thing that I want to do, if any of them whatsoever?
Mm-hmm.
And it reinforces that a lot over the course of the game, of like, because as we said in the first episode, the way neuromods work is that if you remove them, because they are literally like installing information into your brain, you're literally like learning a new technique by having the muscle memory installed into you. If you build memories on top of that, those are memories you're literally installing into your brain. So the only way you can undo that is by going back to the way you were before those memories ever entered your mind. And so the person who you were at the time may not be the same person that
Psychotronics is the opposite of safe,
I'm
Morgan.
not really talking correctly.
What are you after? Someone's helping you. Is it Michaela? Elazar?
I mean, it's basically like
Yeah.
loading a previous save in a game.
I can
Up until
eavesdrop on your
that
brother's
point, you're the
messages.
same, but
We're in
whatever
agreement
happens
on this one.
afterwards, it
Get
can
through this place
diverge.
fast as possible.
You can completely go
You're
a
looking
different
for a
path.
maintenance
And
airlock
that's
to a
the same
utility
thing that they're
tunnel
sort
called
of
the
saying in
Guts.
this game
It'll
is
take you all the way
once
to the
that
top
thing
of the
is
station.
uninstalled, you might be
You might as well-
different.
yeah, you might be different than you were before. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll still be basically most of, how would you say it, like the same person for like
Yeah.
90% or whatever or more, but you might make different choices, have different beliefs, stuff like that.
Actually, maybe we should go for the escape pod key. Let's see. Let's switch to who is. Let's go to the neuromod division. See if we can get the escape pod key. Let's talk with December. But yeah, it's
Why
that,
not?
It's almost as a predeterminism versus free will kind of debate. Because
Yes.
in theory, if you're the same person, like let's say I take a test about who I am, like I take that personality test that we took at the start of the intro.
Mm-hmm.
In theory, if I went through a bunch of experiences and then had those undone to the point where I took that same test, I should give the same answers because it's the same set of memories, it's the same like set of senses that are generally experiencing the same phenomenon. Like it should be in theory no different than I was before I went in. But in this game, there's a phenomenon with the neuromods where it's documented that there are a lot of cases where after you have a neuromods uninstalled, take a personality test, you could get different answers. And it's if it's essentially the same personality same personality test at roughly the same point in time. So in theory, there should be no difference. You should have the same answers. But something is causing a divergence in that personality. Whether it's just the natural recurrence of like free will, meaning you could choose different things somewhat randomly, or if there is something that neuromod is doing to that person as a result is undetermined. Like the game does never really like state if it's the neuromod's doing it or if that's just free will taking a different path than it would have in that one circumstance.
Yeah, the game gives you a lot of questions, and about the story, a lot of it actually gets revealed. But those existential questions, I'd call them,
yeah,
they're just open. Like no one knows, not even them.
Yeah. What is established is that these. Oh, I had my wrong weapon up. Is that these things are like real phenomenon, but the root cause, the existential questions behind them are never answered, and I think that's intentionally so. Yeah.
It also fits the other theme of the game is that they know what they can do with the neuromods, but they still have a ton of questions of how it works, why it works. They just know that they can they work the way they do.
Because they're still
but the
testing
systems
them.
behind it are still exactly.
Yeah,
they're still doing research, but
yeah, these neuromods are still being tested. They're still in development as we speak. So we're almost like in the middle of a trial. Like not almost. We are in the middle of a trial for these devices, whether or not they're like even safe to use.
But at the same time, I think I don't know when you learn this. Probably not too far in the future. You start to realize they're already like ramping up production, getting ready to sell these to get these out.
Yeah.
But then you figure out there's still so much they don't know. It's a bit another jab at capitalism, where it's like we can make money off of this, big bucks. We don't know if it's safe yet, but just go ahead. Like it's fine.
Yeah, just do it. What's the harm?
Well, you're living.
Yeah.
The harm right now.
Also, like, and we'll probably get to this in a little detail once we get the neuromod recipe, which should not be very long from now. But the neuromods use what is the component name? Exotic material.
Yes,
you can only get exotic material in this game by killing phantoms and Typhon. It is a thing that is uniquely, like, only the Typhon possess exotic material. So if you're getting it, that means that we are using the Typhon material to install neuromods. Even if they're human neuromods.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's also one of those big revelations, because first you're like, okay, there's Typhon and there's neuromods. And they seem to be like two different things, and then at one point you then realize, oh wait, they're able to make the neuromods because of the Typhon.
Yeah, and
so
I like that the game doesn't have to spell it out. You can just tell. Like the game systems imply that as a natural consequence.
Mm-hmm. Because in the beginning you have no idea. Like, did these Phantom could have just shown up the moment you were running that test.
Yeah.
And the neuromods were just like they're completely different. It's a separate entity. But then no, they were there before, which means that before all of the neuromod stuff happened, they also had access to Typhon.
That means we had to know Typhon were around, because otherwise it would have been impossible to create neuromods.
Yeah.
So this is not, they are not new. By any means. The only new thing is that they have escape containment.
Exactly. And then that brings a whole lot of extra questions, etc. And yeah, the rabbit hole just goes deeper and deeper.
I like you using that metaphor. We have... Let's see... We have something deals electricity damage. Pretty sure we do in this skill tree. Here we go, electronic burst, electrostatic burst. So I did see an corrupted operator.
Yeah, that's one of the things you learn from the psychoscope. You just scan enemies and it'll give you info, including weakness and their abilities and stuff.
Something that does carry through a New Game Plus. You keep all the research you had in the previous runs. Because they unlock powers as well once you research things to a certain extent. So I have all of my research from my previous runs as well, so if I wanted to I could go in and remember what weaknesses were. Although, once you actually once you start like playing the game and learning weaknesses, they're kind of intuitive. They're pretty intuitive.
Yeah, it's true. Except for maybe some of the like specialer monsters, but if it's like yeah, this is a robot. Well, use electricity maybe. Stuff like that. It becomes quite intuitive.
This is bad. Okay. That was dealt with. We just pop a suit repair kit and drink some drinks. Because we do have the food. We do have the food boost upgrade, along with every other upgrade in the game. Should probably craft some more ammo at some point.
Chow down on some bananas and some eels.
Yeah. Debriefing safe. I also love that if you this quest for December, if you do it right now, you can speak with him, but if you don't, then January actually kills December before you get the chance to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that is
that happened on my playthrough. I
hit lock on this safe on accident because I'm a dumbass. I think the fun thing about the hacking things is that it's actually easier to hack when you have a higher hack level. Like hack 3 and 4 puzzles are easier to do than hack 1 and 2 in my opinion because you have more time. Chipset. But yeah, it's that meta, like, what are neuromods doing to us, and is that thing a net positive, or are the side effects just not worth it? Here's the escape pod key. Oh.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and this is something that happens a lot in this game.
Yeah.
Where it says do X, but then something gets in the way of doing X.
In this case, Alex took the key out of this box, but left the stun gun for us. So
there's also a whole lot of times where then January chimes in with, "You thought this would happen, so we prepared for it in this way."
Yes. I love that, like, the previous version of you is, like, they are not a dumbass. And they know that their brother will probably try to sabotage them. And so they, like, okay, so if Al tries to sabotage this, what should my next contingency plan be after that? Because he will.
Yeah. I'm gonna make, like, a really easy reference here. It's one of my favorite parts of something like Death Note, where it's like, no one is playing in the now. They're all playing like 5 steps ahead.
Yeah. Death Note's actually a pretty good one for that. Yeah, because like
there's
so much
of
the conflict
but,
yeah. is characters predicting what the characters are going to do.
Yeah, and it's I thought you were going to do this, so I do this. But I knew then you would do this, so then I do this, and it just...
Yeah. Because, like, all the characters, like, all the leaders in this, all the main characters in this game are scientists, and, like, really, really smart people. Well, bye, December.
Morgan, that operator was an earlier, defective model. Or something worse. Alex, the Typhon... They're all working against you. Trust yourself. Trust the video you made. We need to get the arming keys and destroy Talos 1 before it's too late.
I love this because it helps sow the idea in the player's mind that maybe January cannot be trusted.
Did you find something interesting?
It just adds that little hint of, like, oh, I thought you were my friend, but why did you kill this one? And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and then you just find that note labeled M on December.
Yeah.
Which means it's probably from yourself, so she's also legit. Just like January let you to the video, so she must also be legit, but
yeah.
Then why are they saying different things? And it's just, yeah.
But they clearly don't have the same interests. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because there's clearly the one version of us that said we should blow up the station, and the other part that said, no, we absolutely need to leave. And which one of them if any of them are us. It's that question of who even is Morgan Yu? Are we even Morgan Yu at this point? Is the person that we are now, can they even be compared to the person that was given the name Morgan Yu, even though it's the same body? Are we the same person at the end of the day?
Have we diverged too much from our original self at this point?
And even fundamentally, is there an original self to diverge from? Or is this just the natural consequence of the same person being told to run through the same situation several times? You just do things differently just because the random chance says, I could have done this.
I love how you hesitated when you saw those turrets.
And if you're not using sonic powers like I am, your other way of disabling these kinds of operators is through the disruptor gun. But we have psychic powers.
Yeah, I love that because it's a lot of times when you have a weapon that just stuns someone, because you can use that to stun a human and they don't die, they're just knocked out.
Yeah, but this
here,
does actual electrical damage.
Yeah, so it's really good against robots. So you actually use it a lot, even if you don't plan to save humans or use it on humans or anything like that. It's so useful.
The brilliant thing about this game is that every single item has every single tool has a function and multiple functions. Like it is a toolbox for you to manipulate and use as you see fit.
Yeah, like the obvious example is the glue gun, which has a million uses.
Yeah, but it is far from the only like weapon that has a million uses. It's just the one that's most overt. You're right.
Yeah. Like it's the one where they're basically literally putting it in front of your face and saying, "Hey, look, you can do different things with this." And then on the other hand is like the bolt caster, the toy gun, in which they give it to you, but they don't necessarily say what you can do with it.
Yeah.
But it's still really useful.
What you running for? I didn't mean anything by it, really. I'll just take all of that items you have on your person. All of that lovely type of material to be recycled. There we go. That's a lot of material. And now this place should be relatively safe to search.
Yeah, that's always the question. If you've killed all the obvious enemies, are there still others lurking?
Yeah. Like mimics, because those are an eternal threat in this game no matter where you go.
Mm-hmm.
Love that operators drop spare parts. It's one of those, like, very nice touches. Oh, it looks like it, Oh, it looks like the reason these turrets didn't shoot at me is because I was a Typhon, because the Technomancer was hacking it.
Oh.
They weren't killing me because I was Typhon. And they were programmed to ignore Typhon because the big Technomancer was controlling them.
I hadn't thought about that at all.
That's really cool. That's a really cool detail.
It completely makes sense, but I never thought about that.
That's so cool. I love this game.
Third playthrough, still discovering more stuff.
I love this. Unpowered door, press F to force it open, because I have leverage 3. And take all this exotic material.
Oh, I think it took me so long before I was able... What is this?
Yeah, this is leverage 3. Leverage 3 lets you, like you saw the psychic energy coming out of my hands, right?
Mm-hmm. I can't remember. Maybe I found a way in through the ceiling there.
There probably is a way in through the ceiling.
Yeah, I think almost every room or something like that has like 3 ways to get in. No, I don't. That there's usually like air ducts and forcing a room open, finding a key card, using powers. There's so many ways.
Oh yeah, here it says right here, Typhon plasma contains exotic materials which can be used to fabricate neuromods. It's cool, we're just saying that.
That might be one of those. The plasma might be one of those things you cut out if you have the mod for it.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't quote unquote spoil you before that part, but I'm not sure.
But that is such a really cool little detail. Like it's the things where like you don't need the game to tell you that because you've probably already figured that out just by looking at the Neuromod recipe and where you get materials from. I want to say neuromods take a little bit of every material. Here's another phantom. Get a little closer, and boom! And I kind of like that phantoms drop psi-hypos, because that means you never truly run out of psychic power.
I just dumped all of mine into the recycler.
Yeah, I mean, you needed them for the materials.
Mm-hmm. Like the recycler just makes it that everything is useful. Like if you got the storage space, just pick it up and you can get rid of it later.
And yeah, and then you can use them to make whatever you actually wanted to use.
Mm-hmm. I think the psi-hypos give you a bit of exotic material. I'm not sure.
I think a bit of the orange one, synthetic material as well. Like I presume from the case, it takes synthetic material to make the case.
I'm not sure if it was that or metal. It's one of the two.
Well, let's see,
metal would be even better, but I can't remember.
Okay, you're right. It is a little bit of plant material, a little bit of metal, and a little bit and twice as many psychic material, exotic material.
Yeah, I just turned all of those into neuromods almost all the time.
I see a voltaic phantom is in this room, and so is a mimic. Oh. Oh, it found me. Oh well. Let's do Psychic Shock. Is that? Oh, and that does do a lot of damage. It really, like, having the psionic powers does make this game a lot easier. They are all extraordinarily powerful. Like, you can it helps you understand why the researchers here wanted to install, like, try to use neuromods to install them into humans. Like, mechanically, you see why these powers are useful. You still there?
I am.
Here's some more neuromods. I think we might have enough to get the last... Yeah, we have enough to fully upgrade everything. So yeah, there we are. We have every single skill in the entire game.
Kind of was expecting an achievement, but you know, it doesn't have to be one.
Yeah, well, New Game Plus wasn't around when this game launched, so they didn't. I don't think they ever expect you to be able to master everything in a single playthrough. because this was something they added to the game after the fact, like right before Moon Crash came out, I think, or maybe even as Moon Crash was coming out. Well, now we have met December and add a little bit to that mystery of like who is January, who is December.
Good morning,
and can
Talos.
any one of them
As
be
a
trusted?
reminder, all personnel must complete monthly physicals during their stay aboard Talos 1. Dr. DeVries promises to make them as quick and painless as
I
possible.
also like that. I don't think anywhere during this time. No, wait, that's the first bit. I want to say that they never really show quote unquote CGI with the looking glass, only recordings to make you actually understand that that was you. But then I realized the first part of the game
Yeah,
is all basically fake.
yeah, that
So-
big reveal.
Yeah, so then maybe Morgan in the looking glass was fake. I never thought about that when playing the game, but now just going back
I don't
at
think
it,
you're
I'm just
supposed
thinking.
to have that impression. I don't think that's
Yeah.
even like a thing that ever comes up. 'Cause I think that is genuinely Morgan Yu. Like I think that's because the question is almost less interesting if that's even a thing that can be the case.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that they take that doubt away by never showing you fake looking glass, only recordings. But then I just realized that's the entire first bit.
Although you could
But-
argue that probably wasn't like that probably wasn't a fake. What that probably
Yeah.
was the recording of Morgan's actual apartment from when they were on Earth.
Yeah, and then a helicopter ride, just install some cameras on a helicopter, fly around. I mean, yeah, it could definitely all be filmed in the real world,
Like
quote
I think
unquote.
the implication is that they literally like to make the situation as real as possible. They literally tried to do like perfectly recreate Morgan's apartment from Earth, so that they wouldn't even suspect that they were on a space station. So that could like I don't think that's someone building assets. Although, of course, in the real world, it's just like an arcane developer making those assets. But I think in this world, it's supposed to signify they literally took the length to record literally the backdrop of their apartment and what that would look like if they were to theoretically ride a plane to Transtar.
Yeah.
And as you can see, like, if you're a human player and not use like powers, you can just take these turrets and deploy them to make your life here a little easier. And we could too if we wanted to hack them, but I've had enough hacking in the game for for right now.
Yeah, there's definitely enough hacking in the game, even without
Yeah.
getting every turret.
Recycler charge. Let's get those out of the way. I've got enough of it out of the way that we can pass through this now. It's just another one of those, like, even if you theoretically have a no power run, you still have plenty of tools
Definitely.
to do whatever you need to. Even if you don't even take the human powers, there's still, like, the game provides you a solution to all the problems.
There's a lot of areas that you simply can't go, but all of those are just optional or extra resources or maybe a shortcut.
Yeah.
They never lock you out of the important stuff.
And that's probably why I like this genre as a whole, is that the entire genre is about rewarding problem-solving skills. It's about saying, here's an obstacle. There are several different ways you could do it depending on where you want to go. You just have to figure out which one works best for your current build. Oh, there's a phantom there waiting to ambush us, so let us do that, I guess. Just because I know it wants us to come in from this way. I'm running low on shotgun ammo. I should have crafted some when I was on my way here. Actually, thinking detour to the office and crafted some ammo. But that is really too bad.
I did that a lot when I played, though. Like, just look on the map, where's the closest recycler or fabrication, and just
Psychoscope
run all the
required
way
beyond
back to
this
make
point.
more ammo or stuff.
Yeah. Psychoscope required, and I guess I should probably show off where you get the psychoscope since this is a New Game Plus run. It's down here. You get it from coming down here.
Yeah, in the massive hole in the ground.
Yeah. That's where it's supposed to be. A lot of mimics.
And this place completely glued up, and then you just get attacked by a whole bunch of mimics.
I like the yeah. That's a really good storytelling detail. Is clearly this was sealed up to make sure these mimics don't get out. And again, there's also see here. Here is the psychoscope. But we already have a copy of it. And we get the mimic detection chip. And one of the other things I like in this game is seeing how the engineers here all figured out ways to try to deal with the Typhon menace. Because they're not, like, these aren't just some random dumbasses that don't know how to take care of themselves. These are all people that spend, like, as a living, solve problems. And complicated problems at that. So they all had, like, they all used the items at their disposal to try to deal with the Typhon as they came across them. Oh, hi, Phantom.
Yeah, because this Talos one is like the crown jewel of I forgot the name of the company.
TranStar.
TranStar, that's it. So everyone on here, especially since it's in space, so it is extremely expensive, I guess less so in the game, to just get people there. So everyone here is here for like a reason. They should be the best of the best. And it does show, just like you said, they're not just random dumbasses.
There we go. Random taken care of. Restore my psychic, suit, and drink some drinks.
They do like their traps in this game.
Yeah.
Where you enter through one way, you clear everything out, you get whatever you need, and when you turn around, there's just a whole bunch of enemies.
Yeah, but that's kind of the genre. This genre is fond of traps.
It is. It is.
It's fond of keeping you on your toes. I like that there's a passive buff for just eating food recently. And we are getting a little closer. Science operator.
I see you've already figured out how to use your psychoscope. All right, Morgan, I know I can't make you stay put, but you're gonna die down there if you don't listen to me. I'm sending you the code to a safe in Director Kelstrup's office. I'm certain he's hidden neuromods there. Use them to install one of the Typhon abilities. That's what this is all about, Morgan. You spent 3 years of your life making it possible. Putting what they can do into us. You've just forgotten.
I think Alex is an interesting character in this game. Like, a very interesting one at that. They do a lot with him. Like, he's clearly not a great dude, but he does still care about you since you are his flesh and blood.
Yeah. Like you can definitely tell he's sort of holding back.
Yeah.
Like he wants to stop you, but
He can't bring himself to. At least not fully. I knew there was a mimic. I didn't craft anything yet. No Sahabo came out. Only solution is that's a mimic. Let's see. Where is the shotgun shells? Let's craft like a couple sets of these. I think 36 shells should be enough for at least to make me stop having to craft them for a while. Yeah, the Sci-Hypo recipe too. Yeah, it's one like this. I correct recipe is 1 part plants, 1 part metal, and 1 part Psi.
yeah, I haven't checked that, but I guess it does make sense that whatever you build it out of, it will recycle back into.
Yeah, that is
Just in
usually the
lesser
case.
quantities.
I thought a mimic hit me. No, it was that electrical shot over here. So let us. Well, I guess I won't be able to repair that unless I get onto the roof. Because I don't want to get shocked. There we go. I have spare parts for days. Oh, I love this detail. If you know the safe code for something, it just shows it to you on the HUD, so you don't have to actually worry about going through your notes to find it.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are in
Morgan,
transcripts
a
as
warning.
well.
Yeah.
If you
And if
scan
you have to
enough
like,
Typhon
sit through
organisms,
the
you'll be
entire
able to
transcript to
install
just get it
neuromods that
somewhere
are
near the end,
powerful.
that's just
They're the
annoying.
reason
So
we're
yeah,
in
it's a
this
really
mess.
nice touch.
For one thing, the station's defensive turrets will identify you as an alien threat. There might be worse consequences I can't yet see.
I do think
I
it
don't
doesn't
want you to lose
show
yourself.
it when it's like written on the wall or something, like when you can't pick it up from a note or from a transcript. But still, that
Oh,
it
here's
just
the
helps a lot
alternative. If you don't
anyway.
want to repair the electrical circuit, you can just turn it off right here. That's cool. Well, I'm pretty sure that would also probably shut off these recyclers and that fabricator over there as well.
Yes, I think it does. Because I tried that as well when I first played it, I think. I also really like this, how they have those plants in those small self-contained chambers.
Yeah. And you can take it, and it just helps sell, like, the space station as an environment.
Mm-hmm. Because they're like, you just picked up tomato, so it's part food, but they're probably also part of like the oxygen supply.
Yeah. I mean, because there is like the whole central area is a greenery, like it's a greenhouse.
Yes, yes, that's true.
And it's just, and I imagine there's a reason why they made that the central area, because that is like where all the oxygen is being manufactured. Like if you think about it, like that's all planting is in space. It's oxygen manufacturing.
Mm-hmm. And this is another one of those moments.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, this let's look a little closer. Yeah, this.
Take a good look. Everything happening on Talos 1 started here.
And then he gives you a call.
You were so driven in the beginning.
And then that thing
My
appears.
mistake was agreeing to put you at the center of the tests. That's when you began to drift away from me. We're close to understanding what they're after. What they're building. Just need a little more time.
You almost start to feel bad for Alex, because like when you hear him talk to you, he seems genuinely sorrowful, as if he just misses his little sister or brother.
Yeah. Like he doesn't want to do this, but he has to.
Or he feels like he has to. Yeah.
Yes.
I love this room. This room where
Oh.
everything is labeled, not a mimic.
Oh, that is just... Oh, it's so good.
Although I think some of these are actually incorrectly labeled. Yeah, like there's a mimic there.
But I'm not sure if the mimics don't have a label, but at the same time, nothing is stopping the mimics from mimicking into something maybe with a label on it. A post-it, or just being a post-it.
I knew I wasn't going to be able to get to it in time. That sucks. I know there's 2 mimics over here. So come out.
And I think this is really realistic that no matter what kind of advanced technology you have,
yeah,
if you're this paranoid, just putting post-its on everything you know is safe, it makes sense. It looks crazy, but it makes sense.
Yeah, especially in this context where there are monsters all throughout the ship. And it's not like it's not paranoia if you know for a fact there's a genuine threat.
Yeah, like they know what they were dealing with, up to a certain extent at least. So when you find this, then you also know like they knew about the typhons and they had a lot of info on this for like a long time. Because you don't just do this when they break out. There's no way.
Yeah, this is something that you have to build up to a point where you get paranoid like this. Does not just happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Since they all cluster together, it's pretty easy to just kind of blow them all up at once. That's their fault for gathering so closely like that. And our multi-purpose glue gun, of course. Fighting fires by smothering them. And seeing out their sources. I love, there's a conversation in this game in one of the audio logs of like, hey, it's cool that you used the glue gun to fix the leak, but you better be planning to fix that permanently.
Yes, I know exactly the one you're talking about.
You better be planning to fix that leak for a long-term solution. Or we're going to be in some trouble. By that I mean you're going to be in some trouble. It's such a good little conversation.
It's literally just duct tape 2.0. Just slap it on everything.
And that's what I love about it is that like the game gives you that not just for like the world building is the gameplay hint.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the game is willing to tell you that there is a engineer that used the glue gun just to fix a gas leak. That tells you implicitly, oh, if they can do it, I can too. And that's such a cool little detail. My one gripe with this game is that this mimic is unkillable. Because you can never get into that room.
True. I'm pretty sure I looked for ways for quite a long while.
Oh, same.
Because the game just gives you that there's usually 3 ways into a place. So if they want to make it hard for you to do something, there's only one. You just have to find it.
There's something almost angelic about those golden filaments, like frozen light. The Typhon weave it out of thin air. The question is why? We have a lot of theories, but no solid answers. Not yet. I wish you were with me, Morgan. Not the way you are now. The way you used to be. I know we could tackle this together. Like old times.
I do like another detail is that the game, like, the game makes it clear that Morgan Yu isn't like just a bit player. Like they were a major part in the station's success because they were like, I wouldn't say a genius, but that might actually be an accurate description. Like they were one of the smartest people in the station by a long shot. They knew how to do practically anything they needed to do in order to get their job right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like the first hint is Alex seems to be in charge here, but you're his sibling.
Yeah.
So you probably also have a high, like, function, a high job here.
Yeah.
Someone who's really important, and then you have your own office with like a secretary. So there's definitely something going on there.
Yeah, you were at least a high-ranking official, but you might not know, like, when you're starting the game, that you're not just like some random like CEO. You are literally like chief scientist.
Yes, exactly. Because there's always that thing where just like, oh, I'm family, so they're paying me big bucks to do nothing.
Yeah.
To just sit there, but that's definitely not the case here.
And in fact, oh, you're back. Hello, Machete. There you go. Finally, I got you.
I also like that bit when we just went through those golden filaments for the first time.
Yeah.
Even though Alex is like stopping us from doing whatever we want to do, he takes the time to explain to you just some of the stuff that's going on. So he's clearly invested in whatever's going on here, and he wants you to know. And then, yeah, there's so much world building going on. They really set it up in a way that he's not the bad guy. He's not really conflicted.
He doesn't think of himself as a villain. He genuinely thinks he's doing the right thing.
And so are we.
Yeah, it's just a conflict of like, I have my belief and he has his, and those beliefs cannot come together. There is no reconciling the differences here. Even if we want them to be reconciled, or at least even if he wants to try to bridge it, there's just no way he can do it, and he knows that. Okay, lab is shaking, which means something bad probably happened. Another dead body. There are a lot of those in the station these days.
And each one of them has a name.
Yeah. Warning, I've sealed 7 mimics inside, 2 casualties, maybe as many as 8 mimics. Oh, whoops. Didn't mean to use my powers there. Now let's seal up this gas leak.
That was one of my favorite rooms.
Yeah.
Because that was completely boarded off, and I found the memo, and then I was looking for another way in.
No, you have to break it. You had to break this, yeah, to come in.
And then once you get in here, what you find is there is like 6 chairs just randomly standing there.
Yeah.
And you just know they're mimics. Like, there's no way where there would be
there is no,
6 different chairs just standing in this spot behind that desk.
Oh, hi, Phantom. Oh, bummer. And medic blast. I think that took care of them. Where is the other one's body? I have stuff I want to loot off it. And I love that you can actually cause punctures in the gas leak like if I take my pistol here for example, I can cause a leak. So like it's not just automatically fixed. Like you can repair the leaks, but you can also cause them. If you need fire like as an obstacle to kill an enemy.
Mm-hmm. And like how you use your ability near the gas, if an enemy tries to hit you and you are standing next to one of those pipes. Yeah.
That'll hurt. As they said, there are 2 casualties in here, which meant there were mimics. Helen Barker Combs. I said it last time. I still love the detail that mimics have the names of the people they used to be. Like that just it's another one of those ways the game can tell you that these people they're turning people into mimics, and they don't have to actually like spell it out. Like that one detail is enough that you can just intuit what that means.
Mm-hmm.
You're making progress. I think I went the wrong way. Oh yeah, this I think this is towards the morgue.
Calibrating.
No, this is back where we were. We need to go back up. I got confused after all my navigation. Here we are. Top me off, Scotty.
Scanning. Neuroimaging shows you're mentally stable. This should help. That should help you concentrate.
I like how they frame it as like it's mental stress. Like so using psionic powers, it just drains your mental stamina. And so you can get a stimulant that'll basically solve your problem and let you use psychic powers again. Okay, I have to actually break this so I can fix it correctly. There we go. And I love that we can see the shotgun in this room. Like, you can see there's a shotgun in this room over here before you can actually ever get access to it.
And the fact that that little hole next to the door was the only way to get in, and they blocked that off, so they clearly...
Actually, I think, now that you've mentioned it, where is... Mimic matter. Oh. I think I need to actually... Let me try to crouch. See if I can... Yeah, you can actually use the mimicry ability to squeeze yourself through that hole.
Mm-hmm.
And the manual override will just let you lock out the door.
There were a lot of times where I knew that would get me into a place really easily, but playing on human, I just knew that I had to find another way.
Yeah, and there always is.
There definitely is, but there's always that temptation of, should I just get that power?
Yeah. And I love when games give you that push and pull. I'm going to recycle some of these glue guns. And probably that shotgun. Because now I have the Margrave, so I have no need for this shotgun. Yeah, we need to find a recycler soon. I could just go back to the one in that office. And this is a cool side quest too.
You find anything good in that armory? Well, I was gonna give you the code, but I guess you don't need it. Still, I sure would appreciate being let out of here. My name's Aaron. Aaron Ingram. You know, I used to be a reverend. Training for it anyways.
Because the quest is that if you help him out, he gives you the code. But we already have the code, so he can't offer it to us anymore.
Does that sound like anybody you know?
But I like this here. Like, we could turn him into a mimic if he wanted to. But he's asked us to let him free. But we know here he's a human trafficker, a kidnapper. And, like, here is his list of offenses which got him here in the first place.
Hey. What are you reading? My rap sheet, huh? Look, I'm telling you, on my mama's grave, that is a stack of lies.
He does actually make a good point when he's talking to you in some way.
I want to be honest. Some of it probably is true. I've done some wrong in my days, but this ain't right now. Come on, y'all got to let me out of here.
Yeah, I like this here. It's
I never did anything
a moral choice.
I was just getting them out of a
but
bad spot, that's all.
It's a moral choice that, like, the game doesn't judge you on which way you go. It's not exactly.
They got their claws sunk deep in the government.
But he makes a compelling argument to me, which is, yes, I did do some bad things, but does that really warrant this? Like, death in what seems to be one of the most horrific ways you can kill somebody? So, open door.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Some human decency, friend.
My choice here cost me the achievement of not letting a single human die.
Oh, really? Why? Oh, did you kill him?
Because yes, I did not open the door.
Really?
And as far as I can remember, I know I did that, and there might have been a few other cases where I wasn't quite sure whether did I kill them or not. Usually because they've been taken over by someone else, and I can't remember if you don't knock them out but kill the enemy, do they still explode or not?
No, you knock them out.
That.
If you knock them out, they don't explode.
Yeah, but if you kill the guy that's controlling them without knocking them out first.
Oh, they get knocked out.
Okay, because I wasn't sure about that. I always knocked everyone out.
If you kill the controller, then the person who's controlled gets knocked out.
I don't mean to be a nuance, but when do you think
of course,
we'll get to that breach?
I couldn't remember everyone I ran into during my playthrough, but I'm pretty sure that choice right here cost me
Could be some micrometeoroids punched a hole. Rare, but it happens.
Okay, good. Hopefully it's just that.
Is there something you're not telling me?
No, of course not. It's just that storage room has classified exotic materials. We really can't have it be inaccessible.
Uh-huh. I understand.
Because I do like... You learn a lot from just this one room of like, how they create mimics. And how they get the people they turn into mimics.
Yeah, because here you start to realize it's not just a process of Typhon into neuromods, it's
humans into Typhon into neuromods.
Yes, and that is like when farming Typhon to put into neuromods, that's like a really big gray area in the first place. They're really useful, but it's like aliens.
But then
when they add the human component, that's when it really becomes
where you start to really like question whether or not this station is even worth keeping around.
Yeah. Is this why we had to destroy it? Is it because of this?
Yeah. Is it because the moment that these mimics touch down on Earth, they will immediately start their processes of assimilation all over again?
Mm-hmm. And if we let this continue,
lots of good stuff in here.
people are gonna die anyway because we want to make neuromods.
I'm sure he wasn't a good man, but you freed him anyway. I'm curious if it was compassion, or was there some other motive? I can only act in ways that advance my directive. The Typhon can only kill and destroy, but you're human. You have a choice.
That's a cool little, like, oh yeah, I'm surprised to see you freed that man, but, you know, I'm not human, so I can't make choices. In the context of how this game ends, it's a very fascinating line that they add to the game. Like, I'm just an operator. I'm not a human, and Typhon can't make choices, but you're a human, so I guess you just made a choice there. Huh. Interesting. Because you remember how this game ends, I presume. Because it's one of the most, like, mind-blowing endings, at least for me.
Yes, definitely. That's some of the things that is hard in games, when you have these really good build-up, this world building, this... I hate to do this, but I want to reference just Mass Effect 3 for a bit.
Go ahead.
I just love the world building in all of the games. Especially like the pseudoscience, how they take this Mass Effect and then extrapolate all this other technology from it. I absolutely love that. But then how do you end this story and make it satisfying? That's really hard.
I was
to
afraid
fit
of this.
everywhere, to not
The scientists here
get
were
any
in the middle
plot
of
holes and
something when
stuff
they
in
died.
there. But
Access to
they
the guts
ended
is
this
closed
really
off during
well.
experiments. Security protocol. You'll have to finish what they started. Back in the 60s and 70s, the first research teams tried to communicate with the Typhon, but this proved impossible. Their cerebral structures are highly developed and intentional, but somehow unapproachable. They have no speech of their own, no language. They don't even seem to see us. Not like we see ourselves, I mean. I'm generalizing when I say us, of course. I'm not a person. Not like you.
I love that January seems compelled to remind you that she is not a human.
Terminates.
Every time she speaks to you, like, oh yeah, when I say we, I mean like in the broad sense, because I'm not human. Of course, I don't have feelings like a human would, obviously.
Yeah, that's
Warning. Examination theater compromised.
weird. Like how did they do that? Then they obviously must have trained January before on stuff. Because if you just was able to make a copy of someone and put them in the operator, they obviously wouldn't say stuff like that, because they would think that they're really you.
Yeah. So like they gave, seems they gave like enough autonomy to.
Warning. Examine.
January to give her Morgan's memories, but not enough to actually make her think that she is Morgan.
Compromised.
Which is very interesting when you think about it.
Live exam terminated. Lifting.
People are quick to project human features onto things they don't understand. The Typhon kill us without hesitation. But it's not because they're evil. It's because they can't do otherwise. You know what we discovered? They lack mirror neurons. All their wonderful abilities, there's one thing we can do that they can't. Empathize with
I
the
also
suffering
like
of
how
another living creature.
they somehow seem to be able to have this anti-gravity tech that they're using on even operators and just casually like lifts.
Yeah.
But I don't think they mention it anywhere. Even the helicopter in the beginning wasn't like that, so it's not what do you call it, mainstream tech. It's probably something they invented just here.
Yeah.
And it's already used as something as simple as just an elevator.
just got a very important piece of information from Alex in January, in that this is a detail that's very important as the game progresses. Mimics aren't inherently evil, but they don't have the capacity to empathize with other creatures. That thing that humans have, mirror neurons, which we use to not just mimic people's behaviors, but also to understand how people are feeling when they're going through tough times. That's just that thing that mimics don't have. They don't have the ability to experience empathy with other living creatures. So when they kill you, it's not because they're like maliciously trying to make you suffer. No, they're just doing what their instincts impair them to do.
Yeah, it's the same as being in a room with a lion. If it attacks you, is it evil? No, it's just that's its instinct.
Yeah.
It wants food, and these things replicate by killing humans. So, that's what they do.
Yeah, and it's not that they're evil. They don't know better. They literally can't understand that the things that they are attacking are people with thoughts and feelings and suffering as a result of what they're doing. They can't understand that because they don't have the capacity to.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably one of my favorite puzzles in the game, because to get to this room, there is no way to press that button. Because you need the key card to open this door to the morgue. But the key card's on the table over here. And there's no other key card in the game to do that. So what you need to do is use the Nerf gun to shoot the door open with the manual override button on this side.
That is one of the main ways to use this gun. Not the only one, but definitely one of the main ways.
Yeah. And it's such a clever, it's a clever way, and if you have the Typhon powers, you can also use remote manipulation ability to press that button, kind of like so. But it's far more fun to me to use the Nerf gun, because I like the way the Nerf gun, like, it should in theory be a useless weapon, but it's anything but.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is literally a toy that someone designed on the station to stave off boredom.
Yeah, and this is... Someone designed this. He basically, quote-unquote, made the 3D printing plans to put in the replicator.
Yeah.
Because they talk about making different versions. Like, this... Someone really just designed this from scratch in his, like, spare time.
It's so interesting. It's so like, this game has so many of these little details that are just super important.
Coming through.
Or super intriguing.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to say there's another way that they actually really want you to go into that room. That's by just following the operator. Because they tell you at some point with the transcribe that some guy forgot his key card or the number. And then this other person is like, I can't keep handing you key cards or the numbers or whatever. Just follow the maintenance
This isn't the first
operator
time a Typhon organism
right
has
as he
broken
goes in
containment. It
and
happened
grab the key
before,
card that you left there
shortly
last
after
time,
your
something
initial
like that.
neuromods
That's cool.
You and Alex fought about
And then you
terminating
just
the
literally
project.
just run
Evacuate.
around. But the thing
But
is, that
Alex
thing is on a
insisted he could
timer.
control the situation.
In game, he says it's
That's
half
when
an
you
hour,
began implementing secret
like
contingencies,
real time in game.
hiding the plan for your arming key.
Not real time
videos,
for us,
the
but like for
January
them.
protocol.
Yeah,
Your
I
concerns
have a weird way
have
of
proven to
explaining
be
this.
correct.
But that loop takes like 5 minutes or 10 minutes actually of our real time.
Yeah, and I'm not patient.
Because it goes really slow.
Yeah. I think he's about to do that now, actually. That's very...
But,
oh, no,
yeah,
never
so that's-
mind. Never mind.
Coming through.
So that's at least 3 different ways of getting into that room.
And... again, like, the clever thing that this game does is that even if you don't take any powers, there's always a tool. There's always some way of figuring out figuring out a way to get through something. Like there's always several different ways to solve any one problem. And going to the discussion about empathy, something this game does a lot is like test you to see what your emotion, like how you react to certain stimuli, and a lot of that does like all that's setting the groundwork for what the game's going to do in the late game, towards the end. It's such an incredible like plot twist. Oh, I forgot there's turrets here. I'll deal with those later. And just that one line. Oh yeah, these mimics aren't evil; they just lack empathy. That does a lot of work. That one line does a lot of work in this game's overall story. Because it establishes why the enemies are constantly trying to kill you. It's not that they are evil, that they literally, like, they're just hungry. You are food. That's all you are to them. And they can't see you as anything else.
They're not even mad that they were trapped. Like, they might not even have the concept of being mad. They're just...
Yeah. Or the concept of being trapped.
Yeah. Which is why they might have been, quote-unquote, cooperating so easily, that they don't know that they're trapped. They don't behave differently than normal when in tests, stuff like that. But that's what I wanted to say just now, that you said they tell you that those things cannot be evil because they literally have no concept of evil.
They have no concept of what morality even is, so they can't express a moral opinion.
Exactly, and that's also another reminder that we do.
Yeah.
We can be evil.
Because we are human.
Yes, we have that concept.
Yeah.
And also mean like we in the general sense as humans. So then you're also supposed to think in this game, what we are doing here with the neuromods, with the Typhon, is that evil? Is it bad? And that's for yourself to make out.
We're getting a little full on inventory, so I'm going to go back to this this recycler and start dumping some things that we just don't need. Thankfully, it's right here. So let's dump all these pistols and shotguns that we just don't need. All these glue guns we don't need. And all the junk. And that is looking a lot... Oh no, we have a spare wrench we can dump. And auto sort again. Don't see anything else that we need to get rid of. It's a lot of parts. And let us apply these weapon kit upgrades too. We're close to time, but not quite at time yet, so let's just proceed on to the guts. Wait, let's see what is the other quest we have here. Let me look at our logs. Oh yeah, use bounty guard access as cabin and crew quarters. Well, we haven't gotten to crew quarters yet, so we'll do that later. But this game is fundamentally kind of asking the question of what does it mean to be you, as what is it that makes you the person you are? Is it just the fact that you happen to inhabit that body, or is there something like deeper than that? Like, am I Brandon Carey because I happen to have been inhabiting the body of the person named Brandon Carey that when they were born? Or is there something deeper that makes me who I am? And then, even broader than that, what does it mean to be human? Or what does it mean to have humanity? as a concept.
Yeah, they make you question what is sentience, because the mimics don't seem to have it.
Yeah.
But when they become a phantom, they talk like humans. They seem to replicate some of their thoughts when they're talking out loud. And then there's the whole thing where we're using the mimics to make neuromods. And
yes.
I think a lot of people believe now that the conscience is stored in the brain. But these things, we're using them to change our brains. So there's definitely a connection there somewhat, or at least that's my train of thought.
Yeah. And so much of this game is like, what does that mean? What does it mean to be in the brain?
Gravity detected.
Like, and what is it? What are the effects of changing someone's brain?
Mm-hmm.
Like
and this
these tunnels run the entire length of the station. Mostly conduit carrying the bare necessities:
that literally
power,
like
water, air.
imbue someone
But
with muscle
operators
memory,
also
are you
use it to deliver
fundamentally
supplies from the
changing
cargo
who they
bay
are?
up to the Arboretum. Given the small number of crew assigned here, I would expect Typhon presence to be minimal as well. But that's probably a bad assumption.
When you install a new series of skills onto a person, almost like a machine, does that fundamentally change who they are, or are they still the same person? And then when you go and uninstall those same changes, are they once again something that they didn't used to be? And how does that question impact what it means to be a human, what it means to have free will, or if free will even exists? There's a lot of questions that this game is asking, like in the broad strokes, and it doesn't answer them, which can be a little frustrating at times, but also very interesting that it gives you that room to speculate.
Mm-hmm.
We are close to time, so I think after we deal with the cystoid nest, we might call it. Now,
yeah,
I often like to use the glue gun to deal with cystoids.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Because glue gun ammo is very cheap. Like, just one glob. Like, I have 800 globs of glue gun in my person. So the way these cystoids work is that if they come in contact with any physics object, they blow up. And so you can just spew a glue gun bullet, and that'll kill them, more or less.
Mm-hmm. And as you saw when he entered this area, they go after moving objects and just self-detonate.
Yeah. I love that the game like shows you how things work, like visually, instead of like putting a tutorial in your face and like, these are cystoids, that's what they do. They don't tell you, they just show you. Like, they showed the cystoids going after that operator, and now we know how they operate.
Mm-hmm. And I think I once went through this area really low on glue.
Ooh.
And that's when I realized I still had the boltcaster.
Mm-hmm. The Nerf gun, yeah.
And that also works.
Because it's a physics object. It doesn't do any damage, but it collides, and that's what you want. That's all you need, is a collision.
And then there's just, if there's some kind of case close to you, you can just grab that, throw it in front of them or towards them, and they'll go after it as well. See, that's another, like, we just encountered this enemy, and there's like 3 ways already to deal with them.
Yeah.
And
like,
the fire here is 4.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. I was about to say, then you can, if you want, you can deliberately shoot one of these gas leaks, or one of these gas pipes, and cause it to leak fire onto the cystoid nest, and that'll just collide and destroy all the cystoids. But as of right now, we are at time. So thank you for joining me today, Matthias. I hope we will see you again next time we record, which will be the following week, because I'm on call for next week, so I won't be able to do any streaming.
No problem. That should be fine. If it's not, I'll let you know way ahead.
All
but
right.
I should be there again then.
And until next time, remember, Black Lives Matter. All lives don't matter until Black Lives Matter. Wear your mask, social distance, and stay safe. and hopefully I will see you then. Take care, guys.
Goodbye.